We got a few questions answered today about some concerns we had about next gen Madden 21. Let's take a look at what they gave us. Hey, what's good, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy Rob, aka Roboto. Now, look, we got a bunch of new answers for some next-gen questions we had. I know some of y'all were in the comments previously asking me and saying different comments about different stuff, and I appreciate that very much. There's a lot of thoughts, there's a lot of ideas, there's a lot of people confused, concerned, and worried that we're not going to get a proper product delivered to us for Madden 21 on next-gen. I say let's reserve the rights until they show us what it is, and then once they do, maybe we can properly roast them all together, and I'll be happy to do it. But let's see first, right? And I'm willing to give them a chance, even though they've let us down many times before. And unfortunately, we just keep coming back because they keep giving us kisses and chocolates. It's the worst. I know. It's the worst kind of relationship to be in. But nonetheless, we got some questions answered today by Kralo on EA stream earlier this morning. And I'm going to dive into some of them and tell you guys exactly what it means for us as players, right? Because these are all answers given by corporate that they want to make sure sounds good. But for us as players, what the hell does all this mean? All right, so let's jump into that. But before we do, just want to let you know, if you are new here, I appreciate you for stopping by. You can click the subscribe button down below and the little notification bell right next to it. You get notified anytime I'm live with brand new content. You can also smash that like button, destroy that thumbs up, and you will be able to support my channel more than you'd know. Also, comment down below, are you going to get this game on next gen? I have the old version on next gen now. It's way faster, but I really wonder how the new optimized game will look for sure. Let's jump into these questions. All right, so first question up, community questions asked about next gen. Can players play Madden 21 across console generations? No. Players will not be able to play Madden 21 across console generations. Players that are on current gen consoles like Xbox One S will match up with players on those consoles. Players on Xbox Series S, X, or PS5 who have upgraded their game to next gen Madden 21 will match up with players on Xbox Series X, S, and PS5. So long story short, I have the Xbox Series S. I can play y'all on Xbox One, okay? So what I can do for now is I'm on the old generation version that's downloaded on the Xbox Series X, but when I get the new optimized version on December 4th, so what that tells me and a lot of people is that this game's going to be completely different, right? The game that I'm playing on Series S is going to be very different than what you play on Xbox One. Now, how much different is it going to be? Is it going to be better? Is it going to be worse? Only time will tell. Like I'm saying, and I've been saying for the past couple days, only time will tell. If you don't like it, you don't have to play it, right? And I understand you want to demand change. So be the change you want to see, right? So don't sit and try to complain about X, Y, and Z if you're not trying to make a change. So the players that are on the old gens, you can't play new guys, right? You can't play those. And that, I think overall that's good, because if one version of the game is better than the other, like say they completely destroy and break the new version and we all want to play the old gen, those players should still be able to play the old gen and not have to worry about the new players with a completely broken version, and vice versa. You have to think the new gen will be a better version, right? And it also probably tells me that this is all going to be played on a new engine, right? Like we're going to have some sort of new thing to where it's going to have to be completely different than it was previously, or else they'd let us cross-play it, right? So it's going to be something that's completely different, something that we haven't expected or seen before probably in Madden. And it would be good to balance out the leaderboards and such, so people can't really farm a bunch of things in that way. So this one's pretty straightforward. But PC get a next gen upgrade like consoles? No, basically. It's only available for Series X and PlayStation XS, PlayStation 5. That's a question that's answered. I know a couple people were asking me about it, both in Discord chats and also on comments in YouTube. And yeah, there's your answer there for PC. Unfortunately, sorry for those 14 people who play PC. So how does next gen stats impact ratings? Basically, long story short, we're not going to get the answers we want right now. We are looking forward to going deeper and exploring more here, as there are huge opportunities for a stronger relationship between our ratings and next-gen stats. So basically, long story short, the next-gen stats will provide another data source to help ratings adjusters. It won't be the end-all be-all for ratings, right? And next-gen stats won't be what they determine the ratings for these cards. You know, it's still going to come down to the ratings adjusters, which is a completely made-up and insane thing. So here's one too. Will my progress transfer if I go from PlayStation to Xbox or Xbox to PlayStation? AKA, if you're switching teams, right? If you're going from Xbox to PlayStation or PlayStation to Xbox, will your stuff transfer? And it says no. Progress and content in 21 can only transfer between consoles from the same manufacturer. So keep that in mind too. If you're buying this game and you have an Xbox and you want to go to PlayStation, your stuff will not transfer. So keep that in mind. What will transfer over to next gen in the franchise, right? In franchise mode, you can export franchise saves for classic and face of the franchise. You will have your previous generation console save and continue progress there. But if you want to carry over any new previous generation progress, it will be considered a new gen import save. Each previous gen import will be a new generation save. The export does happen directly from previous gen to next gen with no external file or companion app needed. You can transfer online franchise and face of the franchise online only mode. You cannot transfer offline classic franchise. If you want to do franchise, you can still have your previous generation console save and continue to progress. But if you want to carry over to new previous generations progress, it will be considered a new gen import, right? So if you want to take new stuff and go back, if you want to take old stuff and go forward, it's just going to be a different way you export and import from what I'm gathering here. I don't play franchise. It sounds really convoluted, and I'm not sure too about connected franchises, right? There's nothing here on CFM. For the yard right here, your progress in the yard, including avatar, gear, and Madden rank will transfer to the next gen. So basically everything from the yard, so don't sweat the yard. For MUT, this is the most interesting one, I think, obviously for me being a MUT player. Coexistence between previous gen and next gen will be available in Madden Ultimate Team. This means any change in PlayStation 4 will show up in PlayStation 5, and any change in Xbox One will also show up in Xbox Series XS. Your acquired content in Ultimate Team, including points, binder content, coins, training, ultimate challenges, etc., will transfer. Does this mean I can play on both though? The way I'm seeing this is like, if I have my old gen console, right, and I have a bunch of solos on there that I haven't played yet, right? Can't I just go on there and play the solos on that old gen console, get the points, coins, all that stuff, and then just transfer it over to new gen and just do the same solos again? I don't know. Only time will tell. It does. I hope not, because I mean, I hope so. But I hope it's not exploited to the point where people are making like 14, 14 accounts to do it. But somebody will, right? So coexistence is interesting. I wonder what they're gonna do with that. Competitive modes progress. Basically, long story short, finish your competitive modes on the gen you're on, old gen into new gen. Finish the competitive mode on the old gen, and you can't transfer over your competitive mode stuff to new gen, right? So finish up on the old gen and then go to the new gen, okay? So the competitive leaderboards are separated by generation. PS5 and Xbox Series S cannot qualify for the Madden NFL 21 Championship Series either. So keep that in mind too, all right? So solo battles, weekend league, seasons, all that stuff, you got to finish it on the gen you're on. You can't, quit in the middle and switch over. So here's a little breakdown on the upgrade experience, okay? So physical copy, you'll be able to download and play on the next gen from the PlayStation Store and Microsoft Store at no extra cost. If you bought a digital copy, your digital copy will be bundled with the PS4, Xbox One copy, and you'll be able to download it and play Madden 21 from the PlayStation Store, Xbox, or Microsoft Store at no extra cost. But if you bought a physical copy and want to upgrade to a discless version, right? Say if you got the Series S or the discless PlayStation 5, then you will have to contact EA. It says right here, contact help@ea.com to figure out an upgrade. Basically, they got to validate that you got the game, right? And they're pretty good about checking all that stuff. So don't try to scam them. They'll probably catch you in the act, to be honest. I've seen it happen before. So that's basically it. That's all they went over today about the next gen transfers. These are just some of the questions that people were asking and were curious about. I'm still curious about Legends. One question here that they asked about the ratings. I'm still very curious how that works for Legends, right? How are you going to incorporate stats, next gen stats, when that wasn't even created for a guy like Night Train Lane, right? So we'll see. Only time will tell. Overall, though, I'm happy that they're giving us more news and more content. I will say, though, once again, I reserve the right to see. Once this game comes out, we'll see if it's good, bad, or indifferent. Only time will tell.